Corey Feldman is on the line. I appreciate it, man. I know you're like the busiest guy ever. So thank you so much for making time for me.
No. It's my life is always busy. It's just the way it is around here. Running, an empire.
Now it's crazy, Corey. Telling people that you're gonna be on the show, they're like, "Oh, Corey Feldman, and he's crazy. He's done all this stuff." But really, you're not like that. And you got a book out now that kind of really explains it. It's super honest. And how important was it for you to actually get that out there?
Well, it's essential, quite honestly. If you have followed my life and my career, you can see pretty clearly that, the media has gone to great lengths to distort my character, to kind of, take me out of context and create a alternate ego almost, an alternate identity for who I truly am. And that's not just done through, the press, but it's also been done through the studio systems, through the networks. A really good example of it was a show I did about 10 years ago called The Surreal Life, where, we were promised up and down that, this was going to be a true depiction of who we really are and, really give the fans a chance to know you as a person and break down those walls and, all that. That was the bill of goods that they sold us when we signed up to do the show. Mm-hmm. And then, it couldn't have been further from the truth. I said, well, I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
And then we did the two Corys. And that was, I executive produced it to make sure that I could have creative input and make sure that, they weren't falsifying my personality.
Now, people come up to you and they congratulate you for the book. And the book, I know right now, the best ratings on almost every website, Amazon, Huffington Post. Is it feel weird that they are congratulating you for that, considering that the story that the book is based on is quite sensitive and quite, Well,
yeah, it's kind of funny, right? It's me coming out and saying, hey, they've completely screwed me my whole life and, basically treated me like I was a monkey and here's the truth. And then I come out and say the truth and they're like, well, good job getting the truth out there. Well, it wouldn't have been so hard if you wouldn't have changed it so many times. But yes, I definitely see your point.
Yeah, so is it a congratulations? Because if it is, then congratulations. But because the book is amazing, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm very honored and very blessed that it has been so widely received and accepted. And the fact that, you're right. I mean, you cannot find a bad review on the book. It's literally impossible. They don't exist.
Did you ever think years ago you would be here? You'd be like, 5-star author?
Nope, I never did, actually, to be honest with you. Not in my wildest dreams. But I did think I thought all along I'm going to have to write a book at some point. Mm-hmm. When am I going to do it? And I've been probably planning and developing early stages of the book for about 20 years. It was about 20 years ago that I first thought, hey, I should write a book. Mm-hmm. Around the time of my first Truth Movement album, actually, which was actually around the same time that I did the A&E special. They do the biography type stuff. Exactly. And at that time, I thought, man, this is an interesting story, and I think it needs to be expanded on. I think I need to tell the whole story. So I started thinking about then, but obviously, wow, what a difference in what stories I have to tell between then and now. So the book would not have been complete had I written it all those years ago.
And you are still working. You still do film. You have been over the years, but for some reason, I don't know why, it's been kind of going around that you are or have been blacklisted from Hollywood. And
it's funny, people say things like that, but those people aren't really paying close attention because I have actually put out about 3 films every year. Mm-hmm. That's never stopped. It's never wavered. However, they're not all A-list films. So, people obviously, fans of the Lost Boys series, know that, I've put out a new Lost Boys film every couple of years. Those, as much as they're not as big as, the original Lost Boys, an $8 million film for Warner Brothers is nothing to sneeze at. So, I executive produced the last one, and it did very well for us. And, the sequel, the original sequel did even better than that. And, so we've been doing very well with the Lost Boys series, and I don't know if we're going to continue that at this point or not. But there are some rumors floating about of some potential other sequels in my film catalog that might be in the works. So that's all I can say about that right now. No, I can't say no. I'll be shot, so I cannot. But there's some very big things on the horizon. So I mean, if you really kind of look around, you'll notice that I've got stuff popping up all the time.
Now you've really kept up with the Lost Boys stuff, like you said. But any of those other earlier movies, like which one is dearest to your heart? Is it the Lost Boys? Is that one that's got the soft spot for you?
Well, as an actor, I would say, I love Dream a Little Dream. We did do a sequel for Dream a Little Dream. And there's been talk about another sequel for Dream Little Dream. There's also been talk of a sequel for License to Drive. But to me, neither of those films work without Haim. Mm-hmm. So I don't really see the point in doing either one of them. And fans have even said, well, you could still do it without Haim. License to Fly, which was his idea, that could still work without him. I'm like, no. And then there's talk of, maybe bringing a hologram of him or something like that.
Oh.
It doesn't sit right with me.
So, process of elimination, you've basically confirmed you will be in this Goonies sequel.
I have not confirmed anything. As you know, I'm on the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Yes,
series.
yeah.
I don't know if you're aware of that.
Well, not a lot of people knew that you voiced, was it Donatello in the old live action movie?
Part 1 and Part 3.
That's correct, yes.
I didn't do the second one because it had Vanilla Ice, and I just couldn't sign up for that. But, yes, I was in the first one and then the third one.
And videos, too. You've been in like a million music videos, Katy Perry, TGIF.
That's right.
Everywhere.
Moby.
Yes.
I'm a video slut. I'm in anybody that's got a video, just ask. I'll be there. Actually, earlier this year, I did Mac Miller's video.
That's right.
I played the bad guy, the nemesis to his superhero.
So Mac Miller, the villain in Mac Miller's video, or Katy Perry's daddy in TGIF. What do you go with? Pretty obvious, right?
Yeah. I mean, I actually enjoyed the Mac Miller video. I thought it was fun because it was really more focused on like me being the bad guy, and it was a great precursor to Ascension Millennium because, for those who were paying attention, at the end of the Mac Miller video, he throws me into a fiery pit, which would be considered hell, and it says, to be continued. And then the very next thing anybody heard from me was Ascension Millennium, which, on a spiritual level makes sense, right? Because, I get thrown into a fiery pit of hell, and then I ascend as an angel returning to help heal the world.
But it's pretty good to be Katy Perry's daddy, too. A lot of guys would want to be in that position, I think.
Well, the fact of the matter is when they first contacted me, they said, well, there's 2 roles we have in mind.
Mm-hmm.
One would be the boyfriend that's tied up on the bed. And I thought, well, that's good stuff. That's fun because I get to make out with Katy Perry. And then it went from that to actually she thinks she'd be better as the dad. And I was like, wait a minute. What do you mean? I'm not old enough to play her dad. Come on now. This is not very real. They're like, no, obviously it's a joke. We'd have to, put gray hair color in your hair and all that kind of stuff and make you look old. And, but obviously we're all in on the joke. And I was like, okay, I guess. It's still cool, right? It's still cool. Yeah. Okay. So we did it.
So between author, actor, you've been in music videos, you've made your own, with your own music, your band Truth Movement, your solo stuff. You've pretty much everything except for designing your own vehicle at this point.
Well, that's probably next. I think we'll have to get to that next year. I'm a little busy for the Corey car right now.
Okay, all right. Just thought I would check in with that. Well, thank you so much for the time, man. I don't want to keep you any longer. It's already been a few minutes now, but I really appreciate it, man, and thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. We appreciate the interest in the coverage. Thank you.
Actually, hold up one more question because I promised I would ask you this. Your book, Choreography, you mentioned in there that you brought Mogwai fur to school from the set of Gremlins. Is that true?
That is true. Yes, everything that's in that book is 100% true and accurate.
That is. If you got any more of that fur left, man, you could always mail it up here, and I'll just saying.
Let me tell you, some guy bought it for a porn shop, and that was the last I ever saw of it. No, I'm just joking. That was a joke. Absolutely not true.
Oh, that would. Hey, there's always that business too. You ever thinking about going into that business? Maybe like the.
No, sir. No.
Okay.
That's one place I don't belong. I still do shows for Disney and Nickelodeon. I think we need to keep it clean.
Corey Feldman, thank you so much for the time, man. We got to pick up your book, Choreography, also the music too, iTunes for the EP. And thanks again, man. You're one of the greatest guys, and a pleasure to be talking with you the last few minutes.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate the support, and God bless you.